Hello, this is Dani Ross from Human Connection. Today I have a great woman, gorgeous, beautiful, fearless woman, really a fearless woman. She had many lives. She looks like an animal to me, like a panther, you know, she's scared of nothing. So her name is Anne Beauvais. I'm going to introduce you to Anne. Bonjour Anne.
Bonjour.
Comment ça va?
Ça va très bien. Très contente d'être ici.
Oui, so sorry we speak French because both of us are French, but we're going to do the interview in English. So Anne, tell me your story.
I think my story, I really like how you describe me as many lives. I think I would say that I'm actually not a creature of habit whatsoever, that's for sure. But really, I am a jack of all trade. Sometimes people say a master of none, but I like to hit a certain, I guess, height in
Okay.
what I take on. I like to take it fully on, whatever I take on. But just to wrap it back to how this all came about for me, I was born from two French-Canadian parents. As you mentioned, I am French. I was born in Ontario, so I always say I was made in Quebec,
Yeah.
but I was born in Ontario, and that's where I grew up.
Okay.
And then after that,
Yes. You told me that your father died when you were
Yes.
pretty young, and for you
Yes.
had a huge impact on your life and
Yes.
decision of your life. Could
Yes.
you tell us?
Yep, absolutely. So life was great, mom and dad, 4 sisters, basically. And then, you know how it is in families. I mean, obviously there's love for everybody, but there's people that we tend to gravitate towards in our life. And so when my father passed away when I was 13, and I'm not saying that that's how it was in reality, but certainly how I experienced it. At 13 years old, when my father passed away, I've always seen my older sister and my mom very close. And my 2 little sisters, they were so close that most people thought that they were twins.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So when my father passed away, for me, it was like I lost my person. And then what happened was, you know, not understanding at the time, but I think it created in me someone that is fiercely independent.
Okay, there was a lack first because you were very close to your dad.
Yeah, there was a lot.
And then after this lack, because you're a woman whose action, take action, I think you realized that you had to do stuff on your own. Is that?
Yes,
yeah?
Absolutely. If I was going to get anything done, if I was going to have anything in life, I was going to have to do it.
Okay.
I was going to pull my sleeves up and get it done.
So.
And of course, I'm extremely curious
okay.
in life. There's something about my father where his dream was to sail around the world. And my father unfortunately passed at 43. I have already surpassed his age when he passed away. And so with this curiosity and this person, if you wish, you know, not my partner, he was obviously my mom's partner, but there was something about this unity that had been broken. I took it upon myself that I was actually going to see this world. I was going to see what it's all about, but really in terms of humans.
As human.
Yeah, as humans, the human experience. Knowing others and how they are and knowing myself. And so I took that on.
I understand you. That's why we are in Human Connection.
Yeah.
Because me too, I am a traveler, used to travel, and it's all about humans. But going back to you, so what did you do when you start traveling? Where did you go? And
yeah, so I grew up in this little town, 50 people in Ontario, but with a French school and French education and so on. And then as soon as I hit 18, which was like, you know, the age where I finished high school, I went to university in Montreal, and I identified with this place. Always. It has always been an identity for me, and I've always identified myself as a Montrealer.
As a Montrealer.
Still today.
Still today.
Still today.
Okay.
So it is home for me. It is my culture. yeah, and so I moved here. But of course, I was here, and then I had this dream of going to New York and going to theater school and film school, and I was like in the world of acting. And probably a part of that was to try to get some sort of attention.
Yeah.
Getting the spotlight, getting the love.
Yeah, because you're a beautiful woman, and yes, so it was a good way.
I think it was something about having lost that person.
You wanted to attract.
I wanted to attract that
love that
whatever
I
that I had
attention.
Exactly.
So you went to New York.
So I went to New York to study theater and film and so on, and that's when I fell in love with a man who, if you think about it, I come from this little town of 50 people. All of a sudden, I meet this man who speaks 5 languages.
Wow.
And who had lived in South America and had lived in Europe and had seen all these beautiful things. And I hadn't, and I was like, oh, wow.
You were like, wow.
I was like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I fell in love with and he is now, became the father of my child. So I have one son, Matthias. And when Matthias was born, that whatever person or whatever that thing was that got broken somehow got reconnected.
Okay.
And so he became my person. My son and I are extremely close. And I think I instilled in him the journey. In Spanish we say the ganas. To want to know, to want to, I wouldn't say achieve, discover, to grow, to understand. Yeah, and to somehow achieve something for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? To get to a point where you can look at yourself and say, I have no regrets. I've gotten there. I went for it.
Yeah. No
matter the result, we were just talking about that before the camera went on, but no matter the result.
Yes.
You know what? At the end of the day,
it's a process. It's not where you go. It's not the end of the chemin.
Yeah, it's not the end of the journey.
But it's really the process of it. And I know now your son is an actor in a state.
And he has his own journey.
Yeah, he has his own journey. So from going to theater, wanted to be an actress, having a kid.
Yes.
What happened after that?
So then, as you know, what happened with my father, his father didn't pass away, but we got a divorce. So life, is full of ups and downs.
Of course.
I always call it's a little bit like the game Snakes and Ladders. So sometimes you go up the ladder and sometimes the snakes brings you back down.
Yeah.
But, as you say in your opening act, if you wish, that life happens for you and not against you.
And not to you. Yeah.
Yes. And it's really there to serve you. And so with the divorce, he moved back to what he knew, which was Europe. And then I stayed back here. And there's something inside of that. And then the economy had changed. Technology started coming around. Yeah. So people in the film and the fashion industry, things were changing,
Okay.
And so that's when I decided to take on real estate.
Okay.
I thought at the end of the day, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what economy you're in, everyone needs a place to live.
Absolutely.
And so I went to, if you look at the pyramid of Maslow, at the bottom, everybody needs to be fed and need a place to live.
Yeah.
A place to rest their head, if you wish.
Yes.
So I got into real estate, and I had my son, stay at a friend's house while I was taking my course.
That was in Montreal.
I was in Montreal, taking my courses at night, and then I would work during the day, and I would leave him on Tuesday with this family, and then I would pick him up again on Friday.
Wow.
And I repeated this, because in over here it's actually different places in the world have different laws, and so over here the course is a 7-month course. So it took a while to get it, and then I did, and I hit a certain level in Montreal, and that's when that thing happens to me. I'm like, okay, I've hit that level.
Next.
It's funny because this morning with my ex-colleague, I went to go visit the project in Montreal that I had, the last project that I had sold here. And so it was called Humanity, and so I would do resale and of course, projects, and I saw the finished product of what I helped create, my dent in that project, my dent in the world, if you wish, in the Montreal skyline. So it was great to see, but it was almost like once I had created this skyline, life again comes to serve you. And then I met my husband, And then, you know, we were going back and forth from Montreal to New York, and then we had to pick.
Because your husband lived in New York.
My husband's he's a New Yorker. And so we thought we have to live somewhere. We can't live on, you know,
so you chose,
on the border.
You chose New York.
So we chose New York. And it satisfied my curiosity of the world.
Of course. I
wanted to understand.
It's fun to live too. You know, when you're young, live in New York, it's a good experience.
It was an amazing experience. I had lived in New York before when I had met my ex-husband. So now I was returning to New York, doing it a different way, because like you said, different times of your life, you're at different stages.
Of course, so either you're an artist or studying, but there your husband has a career, and you were in real estate, so it's another game.
Yes. So as soon as I moved to New York, we started a real estate firm. And then I went through the process with, of course, the working papers and so on. And then I got my license in New York. And then COVID happened, and the city was changing. And so I thought, what am I going to do? And then, you know, it came clear to me, where do I really want to be? And it was in Florida, in Miami. So I'm based out of Miami, licensed in both, go back and forth. So we have a home in New York, and then we have a home in Miami. And
so that's what you do now.
That's what I do. I go back and forth.
And where do you say you feel better, Miami or New York now?
You know, it's so funny. It's funny because New York has a piece of me, and then Miami has a piece of me.
And Montreal has the other piece.
And Montreal has the other piece. There's like all these different pieces. It's so funny because New York, for some reason, came and got, you know, my upbringing. Growing up in Ontario, it's a little bit closer to how I grew up, if you wish. But of course, there's just so much art and culture and museums and the theater and so it feeds that side of me, you know. And then Miami, I always said, you know, socially, it's like Montreal. It's alive, and it's
very social.
Very social, and the dining and the experience. I mean, Michelin, you know, they awarded 13 Michelin stars to different restaurants in Miami this year. Wow. So the food scene is really, really great.
Yeah, plus too in Miami now, there is a lot of culture. There was not that 30 years ago. But it's a mix of all these people who arrive, a mix of immigrants, you know, that really helps.
Yeah, 100%.
So would you say right now that you are in this real estate business and in Miami, do you feel you are at the right place or not?
Yeah, that's so interesting. I don't know. I think that you're always in the right place.
Okay.
Because that's where you are. There is no other place than where you are.
Yes.
So I have it that I'm at the right place. Am I exactly where I want to be? I don't think so.
You're not sure?
No, I don't think so. I think that I love Miami. That's externally. Internally, there's something that I have not gotten to where I want to be for myself. Yeah, it's new. I've been there for 6 months.
Yeah, but do you like your job?
Yes, you know, it's so funny because I went around it. You know, when I first discovered real estate, it was inside of like a survival. It was me and my son, and so I had to figure something out. And you know, this whole world of fashion and you know, glitz and glamour. You know, turn the page if I wish. You know, on all that. So I discovered something newly in real estate, and I discovered that what I love best. I love architecture. I'm actually an interior architectural designer, but above all that, what I love the most is humans. I love human beings.
And all kind of people. Easy and not so easy sometimes. Yes. It's like being a psychologist. Huh?
Well, it's actually human behavior, which is, you know, to your point. So is it that some people are easy or not easy? We definitely experience it that way. But it really is something within me that gets triggered. Right, because they are who they are. Something, you know, and so that time that I get to spend with human beings. Now, the minute that people have money on the line, right? Like there's like certain stresses in your life when you're moving, when you're, when you're moving, when you're
stress.
Exactly. It's one of the big stress. Getting married is a big stress, and so on. So when there's money on the line and people are moving, they are probably not at their best. That being said, it's great to be with their humans in their in all of their state, if you wish.
Okay.
So
that's interesting, and maybe in I don't know, 5 years I will interview you again to know where you are.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be in another country, or maybe still doing real estate. Who knows with you, you know?
With me, it keeps changing.
And I understand you very well because I'm a gypsy myself in my own way. So, as always, I'm always asking to my guests, what is a message they want to leave us? So what is a message you want to leave to the people who are listening to us?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. I think it's very deep question.
Yes, it is.
I think for me, you know, when we get triggered by something, the biggest trigger I have is when people say I can't. And so I would change that word for I won't. And it's because we have a certain comfort zone, and you know, we've heard before that there's a comfort zone, and then the magic happens outside that comfort zone.
Magic happens in the unknown.
In
That's
the
my
unknown.
mantra.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I say that, maybe it lands a little harshly, I won't, but once you actually can look at yourself and see where you put your own limitations, because that's what we do, we put our own limitations. I think that the biggest gift we can give ourselves is to embrace the unknown and just to go for it. And if we actually stop making ourselves so perfect, then we won't care so much about the outcome.
Exactly.
And the outcome can be a goal setting, you know, really to really go for it. But if we actually have room for how it can show up,
then
it'll bring us to the next step. Absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
So in one word, it's do not be scared.
Yeah.
Do not be scared to go in the unknown.
Right.
Because the magic is there.
Yeah, the magic is definitely there. And regardless, even if you're scared, I mean,
you have not
go anywhere.
You have to go.
Anywhere.
You have to go.
And
taking a train. You know?
I swear to God, because every time I make a new move, I can think I know the outcome, but it never is.
No.
It never is the outcome you think you're going to get.
And we don't have so much control that we think.
Yes.
Life is,
Yes.
So that was very interesting. Yeah. Thank you, Anne.
Thanks to you.
I hope you liked it. And if you like it, don't forget to put a like, to subscribe, and share it with your friends or your family. Ciao.
Thank you.